Hey everybody, good evening. It's Chris Hansen here, coming to you live on YouTube, Facebook, and my perimenopausal menopausal group. It's an amazing group. If you're not in that group, let me know in the comments and we'll get you into that perimenopausal menopausal group. There's a lot of freebies in there, some really great workbooks, things to help you along your path. And tonight we are going to do a live with Serena. She is a friend of mine from like 15 years now. She's been a nurse for at least that many years. And I worked with her in a peri-surgical freestanding surgical unit years and years and years ago. And I met her. She's an amazing lady. And one thing that's really great about Serena is she has got a light about her. She has got this healing aura about her. She's an amazing mom. She is a hardworking nurse. She's been involved and committed to helping people with chronic illness, the pharmaceutical industry. And let's see, let me add Serena. Hi.
Hi.
Hear me okay?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I
Thank
was just
you.
telling people as we're streaming live from Facebook, my Facebook perimenopausal menopausal group, which I think is amazing for this conversation that we're going to have, and
Okay.
also live streaming on YouTube.
Oh,
So
awesome. This is so cool. I've never seen this platform before.
isn't it great?
Yeah.
So Restream.io has a free section, and then they have a paid section where you can stream up to um, three platforms at a time. You can bring people in. It makes it so much easier than trying to set up right with the platform that you're on. So I really like this one, and I've got the small paid version. I really like it. I
Good.
recommend it to people. It seems to work really well. Plus, um, there's like a back office also where you can set people up and have them step off stage and put them back on stage. I don't know how to do all that stuff, but it is pretty cool.
Awesome. Can you do like Instagram and TikTok
Yeah,
too?
you can do TikTok, Instagram, but obviously if you do more than three, then you pay more money. And they've got like a discount for people who are paying like for the whole year versus monthly, that kind of
Right.
thing. I'm not affiliated with them, but I like the service. It seems to be working really well.
Awesome. Love
Mm.
it.
So I was telling the audience that
Okay.
Um, if you're interested in this conversation, we are going to be talking about the Healing Fawn, and that is what Serena's work and her talent and her heart and what she gives to the world. I was telling them that you're a nurse of over 15 years, that you've been working with a huge group of chronically ill people in the pharmaceutical industry, but a really great drug that you've brought to various physicians and everything inside of that. I mean, you're not on the evil end of pharmaceuticals.
Exactly.
So,
I'm not selling them. Yeah.
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 So, there's that, and that you're this fantastic, awesome mom and a nurse and a giving heart, and that you've really spent the last, has it been like 10 years?
With
8
the healing
years?
with the healing fawn or with the pharmaceutical.
The Healing Fawn.
Healing Fawn has been going on 3 years.
Oh, 3 years. It feels like it's been forever that you've been working on this. So, like, go ahead and tell everybody, what it is that you're doing. One thing I was just going to preface is this. If you've ever had the experience like, oh my gosh, how come I turned into that raving lunatic all of a sudden? Like, where did that come from? Or all of a sudden you're like in this, like, you're frozen, like deer in the headlights, or you're like lashing out, or like you're running away in relationships of any kind, and you're not sure exactly what's going on. It's like this automaticity, like all of a sudden you became this toaster that like popped up to, like it was like without your conscious knowledge. There is something in the background, in the background, like in the unconscious, that's at play. And there's this whole world of somatic work that happens that addresses these things and helps people like integrate and kind of quit being such a toaster and automatic bot in their life, brings this more to a conscious level, and also like integrates it into our bodies so that we're not walking around like blindsided by these like emotional upheavals and the reactions that we have. So that's what Serena's doing with the Healing Fawn and some of the other modalities that I've actually been involved in, and I'm just dying to talk about. But anyway, I'm going to let Serena talk because she's obviously the expert here. So
Yeah, thank you, Chris. And I just think it's so amazing to have you back in my life, in my orbit, because for your audience, like Chris and I worked together. I don't know if you mentioned that, but we worked together um, 15 years ago,
mhm.
right? It was a startup. It was a cool project. It was a startup project for a surgery center, and we were coming in before way before the doors opened and prepping the whole surgical site and suites and pre-op and recovery room. And Chris, I like I told you before, you were literally just such a joy, just such a light of positivity, just like so different, such a different type of person to meet. Um, and then she had left and I stayed for a while longer. And then yeah, we got to reconnect. Um, so I'm just you're just a joy to have in any capacity in your life. So your viewers or and your audience is blessed. Um, but yeah, so exactly what you were kind of explaining with like the toaster and like the this being set off. That's essentially what we call being triggered, right? You're having a good day, everything's fine, and then, one mishap comes up, maybe you spill your coffee, you hit traffic, your child, makes a mess by accident, and then it's an explosion happens, and you go into what essentially like an emotional relapse. You just have a freak out. You yell, you scream, you are completely activated in your body. So you went kind of from 0 to 100 in a blink. That's a trigger. That is a nervous system that has very little capacity to tolerate stress. So you're
Mhm.
always like right on the brink of, am I going to tip over? Just one more thing has to happen, and then I'm in that, emotional relapse, having that reaction. But I when you work with me, we address that initially, but really the deeper work is that those triggers, you're not really being triggered by that coffee being spilled or by the traffic. It is unresolved trauma from your past that has never been dealt with, that's stuck in your body. These are stress responses that you never got to release, when you couldn't, get out of a situation somewhere you were stuck, or not having the support that you needed but not being able to get it. You were stuck and you didn't get to have those experiences come to completion. So they're stored and now they're showing up as an adult.
Yeah,
Um,
and like if you notice, like there's this book and there's this movement and there's this author and this stuff. But the thing that sticks to my mind all the time is the body keeps the score.
Yep.
and and like the benefits of addressing this at a level that we can get to, because it's not something that you can get to with cognitive behavioral therapy. Like, you can only get so far, but there's stuff that's stored in our bodies and is like on this automated track
Hmm.
that happens when our bodies or our minds are stressed, and it comes out like sideways.
Yes.
But like, it almost seems like we're just kind of stuck with that negative reaction in our lives, or is there some place where we can address it? And that's what I really like about what you're doing.
Hmm. So, it's there's absolutely so much you can do, and we do address the nervous system states first. And there's lots of tools that I teach, different somatic tools to help widen that window so that you can tolerate more. It's not necessarily to be looked at as how can I calm down? I mean, you can, but it's more important to know that you're learning these tools so I can build more capacity to be uncomfortable, because life is uncomfortable and we're going to have mishaps all the time.
And this is really important for our girlies out there, one, that are in that transition of perimenopause and menopause, because our capacity starts to diminish. We're like all this, and then like it starts to kind of implode on us
Yeah.
through this transition. So this is important to work on so that we can widen that. And also for our entrepreneurs out there, when
Mhm.
you go on the entrepreneur, I call it the roller coaster, um, you need more capacity. So you're practicing, you're doing life at a whole new level. If you're going from singlehood to marriage, if you're going from marriage to parenthood or something like that, or like from marriage parenthood to divorce and single parenthood,
Oh,
like
yeah.
all these transitions where life is demanding a whole new level. This is important work because this will expand our capacity.
Mhm.
It's fantastic. Keep going. I didn't want to interrupt, but I wanted to show
Yeah.
like where people could find themselves in somatic work.
Mhm. And, so, we address the nervous system, we learn tools, we build capacity, and then the deeper work that comes a little bit after is more getting into the working with the younger parts of ourself. So inner child parts work. So the 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old version of us, and then the teenage version of us. These parts are really still within us, and they still show up. And a lot of times when we're in distress or we're in these times of transition, one of those may be in the driver's seat and not the adult you.
Yeah.
And so we work with those parts. We welcome them and we tend to them. Things that maybe they didn't get that we can reparent now, um, and and then get the adult back in the driver's seat. Um, and so essentially, the Healing Fawn stands on a foundation that all of our barriers that we have as adults are in some way, shape, or form connected to our childhood experiences. Um,
Totally agree.
and so all my work, we always end up somewhere back to a childhood memory. And I think what's really important, and I love anytime I get a platform to talk about it, like childhood trauma isn't what we thought it was 15 years ago. It's not having the worst of circumstances, living in poverty, having, being physically or mentally abused. Childhood trauma has shown up in such a big way from emotional needs being neglected or rejected as children.
And like, I'm a Gen Xer, and we were kind of brought up sort of like children should be seen and not heard.
Yep.
And we were brought up by the boomer generation in which we kind of were raised latchkey kid and
Mhm.
like hands off, laissez faire. Like, seriously, I remember the commercials at 10 o'clock that said, "It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?" I'm that generation.
Yeah.
I was brought up with parents that had to be reminded, "Where are your kids at 10 o'clock?"
Mhm.
So, like, I'm not talking about like massive, massive abuse, but definite like neglect. Like
Neglect.
that was consistent, but that was the time frame in which we were born. And those people that raised us, they were raised as boomers where like you didn't have feelings and you didn't have emotions and like to ask for help was like seriously a sign of weakness and like
Mhm.
so like they didn't have it to give, so we didn't get it.
Yeah.
And so like we wake up like we're 40 and 50 years old walking around like still popping off like we're teenagers and acting like 5-year olds sometimes, and it's real typical. So like how do we grow past that when it's so automatic and it's not even in our cognitive dialogue? We can't even see it. So that's where the somatic work happens. Like I have done decades of cognitive behavioral therapy
Yeah.
and self-help books and everything, but you can only get so far.
Oh, yeah. You can only get so far.
So this
Um,
is like the modality, like, and one of the things that Serena has is she's invested in the Opus Sound Bed, which is a somatic
cool.
program
Mhm.
that's utilized also in her work.
Mm.
And I am utilizing that right now. I'm driving, once a week, once every other week over to Collegeville to the office and getting a chance to utilize this bed, and it's amazing. Like this is work that's happening on a cellular level. It's happening in the body, you know forcing something to occur outside of my cognitive, my conscious level.
Yes. And what we don't realize is that we are we are living out of our thoughts. We are dictated by these thoughts, these and our thoughts, again, just like you were saying, cognitive behavioral therapy, thoughts only get you so far. These thoughts are based on just past experiences, jumbled together. Our thoughts have no idea of what's to come or anything, so a lot of times they're lying to you. Your thoughts are lying to you. But the body has all the answers. And that's like the biggest thing to understand is when we can get into the body, which is my job when I work with someone. So it's when it's like, well, how do I do that? Honestly, it's a you have a guide that helps you. Um, and it kind of can look like a meditation, a one-on-one meditation to start with. You do grounding, you do breath work, and you get centered into your body. And then the guide um, will have various experiential questions and exercises that they give in order to find what's going on in the body. For example, um, once we get checked into the body, well, I am feeling like this tightness, like around my throat, like I feel like I'm being like choked. Okay. So then we stay with that. We notice that tightness. Can we just be with it for maybe 15 seconds? Can we just notice it? And then we work with it. What does it feel like if we breathe a little bit into it? Does this tightness want to move? Um, we ask what emotion might be stuck there. If you had to dip your finger in to that tightness in your throat, what emotion are you feeling as you sit with that? Anger, sadness. And then it eventually leads to when might have been the first time that you felt this tightness in your throat? And so beautifully, a memory will just surface. Well, I don't know if this was the first time, but I do remember, when I was getting bullied at school in fifth grade, and I was getting picked on, and I just remember I couldn't say anything and my throat tightened up. And that was the first time I felt that. So and then we get back. Then we're there. Now we're with the younger part. So it's a beautiful process that is no essentially no credit to me. I just have learned the art of it. It's credit to you and your body because your body has all of the ability to do it. It's just learning how to quiet the mind and start the feelings of the body, start to be able to be in touch with the feelings of the body.
That is so cool. So when somebody has worked with you, um, what are some of the benefits that they would see?
So, aside from, like the nervous system regulation, being in a place of more connection, calmness, um, awareness, curiosity. So, not really living in those fight or flight or freeze states, fawn states. We're kind of removing those mechanisms that kept us safe as children and really being our authentic self, finding your authentic self for a lot of us for the first time because we've been
Mm,
operating out of a false self which was created from trauma in childhood.
exactly. Amazing. And then as somebody integrates this into their lives, I'm sure that there is a way that they can take some of these tools and keep on either broadening this or deepening this for themselves.
Yes. So all the tools, are helpful. They're in your back pocket, and I always say, even if a couple of them stick and they become part of your day to day practice, it's just going to be like brushing your teeth. Just going to be like going to the gym. Your emotional health is just as important as your physical health, your mental health. So tending to that emotional part. Um, but once you kind of learn it, it does become natural, because these are the things that our body wants. It wants to breathe deeper, it wants to move in these ways, it wants to feel in these ways, so you're just think about it like this: babies and toddlers are the most somatic beings. They are all feels. They are so somatic. And then they learn at a certain point because the communication barrier, it's like, they learn that, like, oh, maybe like if a toddler's like, ow, and the parents like, oh, you're fine, and they're like, but ow, I'm hurt, and then it's like, maybe I'm not hurt, and then you slowly start to shut off the somatic part of the body and you start to be more in your thoughts. But babies and toddlers are so somatic, so we know this language, it's just been turned off.
Yeah, it's been suppressed.
Mhm.
There's been something else that we've been focused on more. And, no wonder stuff goes sideways for us because we haven't really been expressing and purging and and integrating these things into ourselves. This is not something that we learn how to do. We learn how to just shut it off.
Yes. Yes. So keeping the tools, utilizing them, it becomes natural. And then after someone works with me regularly, they'll still come like once a month,
Mhm.
just just to feel. How many of us just need to, I've been so busy, I just need to stop and I need to just feel. And having someone guide you to feel is very different than you trying to attempt to do it yourself. So there is never really an agenda, but it's just that somatic exploration of you getting into your body and out of your head. So that's like a maintenance, like just, once a month having that session. I still get somatic therapy for myself. Um, I try to still do it once a week, if not every other week, when me and my friend switch off and on. But it's just anybody can utilize it. In the world we live in, we're busy, we have to be in our head so much that it's just it's a nice treat at the very least to just be guided back into your body for an hour.
I agree. Where would someone find you? so that they could at least have a dialogue or connect with you or see if this is something that works. I know that sometimes you actually even have a waiting list
Yes.
for clients. So that's really important that you need to realize that, like, Serena is in demand and there can be a waiting list at times. So like how would they get in connection with you?
Yeah, so my everything's the Healing Fawn. So Instagram, TikTok, my website, healingfawn.com. You can schedule a free chat with me at any time um, on my website. I am on a waiting list for like my actual program, my 12-week program till the end of May. But that'll be here before you know it, and then I'll have some spots open.
Okay, good.
But in the meantime, people can still just do like a one-off session and just start to see if this work takes to them, if it feels right for them. And I just had an idea, and I don't know how you feel about this, Chris, but it might be interesting if people are curious, whether it's you or someone else, where if someone was willing to, we could do like a live somatic session with
Oh,
a
that would be cool.
participant, right? And then people can observe it. Because
Mhm.
I've never actually done that. Like, I don't have like a video where someone can go and go. I mean, they experience it themselves, but if someone was willing to go through it for no cost, and but they would be interested in it being recorded, or if they would okay with it being recorded, that might be cool. I don't know.
I
Just
think
an
I
idea
think
that
we
just
could schedule that and do that. Like I have no problem. I'm an open book. Like everybody knows, everyone's seen my path, my healing journey, like the last since 2008. I've been an open book on social media and I'm totally thrilled with the idea of being the guinea pig for anyone else to explore this option for themselves, which obviously I'm interested in being in this too. But one thing that also is, how would they connect with you for the opus sound bed?
Oh, same thing on the website. So with the Opus sound bed, you can schedule a session on my website. We have 15, 30, 45-minute options. There's even an hour option as well. Um, it is at my business partner who we collaborate with for our wellness events. It's her spa, which is Hush Aesthetics in Collegeville. It's a beautiful spa.
Mhm.
Chris is there. Um, all focused on organic, the green movement. So all of her products are organic. They don't use devices or anything. It's very skin to soul place. So the bed is in her spa,
Mhm.
and so if it's a client for the spa, you can book it through the spa at Hush Aesthetics, or if you're on the Healing Fawn's website, you can book it through the Healing Fawn.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I've been there, what, half dozen times now.
Hmm.
Um, and I started with like a 15-minute session, went to a half an hour, 45 minutes. I mean, like some of like I just got over a cold and so I've been doing like healing work for most of it, but one session I did all everything to do with the
Chakra.
meridians and the chakras, and then the next one I did was all breath work, and oh my gosh, like the breath work, it's like having a half an hour, 45 minutes of solid state being present.
Hmm.
Like your brain can't go anywhere. And like because you're focused right on with,
Focus.
oh my gosh, there's so many modalities. There's so many, and like then the setup is just so healing and beautiful. And it's nice and warm and it's so comfy. And that bed blows my mind every time I lay on it. And then you got the red lights and the aromatherapy, and like she just does the whole thing. Like I'm telling you, like you got to go hang out on the Opus sound bed because like the Facebook, I've seen it on videos and all this stuff on Facebook, and it's great, wonderful, but like dude, like you gotta go check it out. So anyway, that's right there in Collegeville, and it's worth the trip. It's worth the trip. And it's not that far out of the way, really.
No.
It's like under a half an hour from my house in Westchester. So totally that. And since she's gonna have openings in May or towards the end of May, definitely check her out check out Serena at thehealingfawn.com. Fawn,
And
FAWN,
yeah,
like fawning.
fawning. Yes.
And then also check back on my socials because we're gonna do a video. We're gonna do the video just because I think it's important that people see what
The
this is. It's not some like, like it
not
might
woo
be a
woo.
little granola, but it's not really
It's
granola. Like,
not. It's really based in neuroscience,
right.
it's really based in neuroscience. That's who I studied under, their neuropsychologists, psychotherapists. This isn't like it's not a woo woo thing. It's
No.
just not mainstream yet. It's getting there.
Well, and I'll see like on Facebook, I'll see some like some thing where they're doing some like breathing exercises and stuff. And I've seen like some of my friends do tapping
Hmm.
or EMDR. Is it EM?
EMDR. Yep.
EMDR. These things are like, these are all inside of the world of somatic work.
Hmm.
So this is a modality in which Serena, who is a registered nurse for many, many years, and she looks like she's still 20, right? Isn't it great? She's just doing really great. Her face and everything's just doing awesome. Looking awesome, girl. You're
Same,
killing it.
same
Uh,
for you. You and those jeans yesterday.
yeah, well, we'll be talking about that. But so, Serena is completely involved in a modality that is useful, supportive to all of us, helpful in every stage of development in our lives, and you know is like rooted in science, which
Yes.
is like, we're both nurses. That makes a lot of sense. So
Makes a lot of
I
sense.
really appreciate that you would come on. I know it's evening time, and I'm really grateful that you took the time out,
Thank
but like
you.
really that you took the time out of your busy life as a nurse, as a mom, as all the things that we are throughout the day, right? And
Hmm.
you took upon yourself not just to stick with nursing, but to expand it into this whole nother area and really give something to the world from your heart of your talents, not just in one modality, but now in this whole modality in which we're coming from a really great place of medicine, not just like here's a pill, but like here's something that you can take with you and like actually not fix something that's broken, but expand something, expand yourself and move past things that may have been stopping you in
Yes.
places.
Of course, any of the barriers that you keep seeing, repeating patterns. It's this is where you can find the answers in your body.
Yeah, and we've been saying that all along for so many years, like you have the answers, you have everything in yourself. You have everything, like there is nothing missing. There is nothing missing inside of you. Like
Hmm.
your body has the answers. And
Yeah.
that's what I really love so much about what you're doing. It's just amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll be so excited to do a demo session with you.
All right, great.
Schedule
Sounds
that.
awesome. All right, well, definitely check out Serena at thehealingfawn.com.
Yes.
Get on that Opus sound bed because it's totally worth it. And if you're not in the area, you can certainly connect up with Serena um, online. This is not like she just does this in this area. So that's really
Yes,
great too.
exactly. All over. Yeah.
All right, great. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to share with the audience before
No,
we wrap up?
I think that's good. Thank you so much.
My
And I'm open for
pleasure.
any questions if any questions come up. So,
Well, yeah, just put them in the comments and I'll make sure that Serena gets them. Like, even, if for some odd reason you don't go on her website and say, hey, I saw you with Chris Hansen and I've got this question. If you just put it in the comments, like, that's fine.
yes.
All
Awesome.
right. Great. Well, have yourself a wonderful night. Thanks, everybody, for stopping by on this live. Take
Thanks, Chris.
care.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.